Hi everyone, I'm JD from Willow Bound Journals. Welcome back to my channel. I am a journaler, journal maker and teacher of journaling courses, and I am very excited to share with you some of these vintage papers in my collection. I've got some vintage ledger papers, vintage French receipts, and other vintage French diary papers, agenda papers, and an alphabetical book, pages from an alphabetical book. These ones are the ledger papers. Look how large they are. So beautiful. I love the handwriting, and I also love the blank pages too. So you can fill that up with your own handwriting. And I was able to scan these using an A3 scanner, so you get the full size. And I think I turned that into a kit of 15 pages with a lot of the handwriting and of course some of the blank, because what I like to do when I print them for pages in my journals is to have the handwriting on one side and the blank on the other side. And then these are the vintage French receipts, and I just adore the script handwriting. Isn't that just beautiful? Especially those headings. And some of these also do come with a little bit of writing space. You can see here you could use that as ledger, and look at the back of that. That is definitely a ledger. Screaming to be used as a ledger paper. And that one too with the lines. Oh, I just love it. These ones here, these have a bit of writing space. Just love the color variations and all the different types of writing and fonts and text. So beautiful. So that one, this kit with 15 French receipts, is available on my Patreon for my Emerald patrons. So that's the only place where this one is available, because I like giving them some extra perks. So the Emerald patrons get every single video that I put up, every single digital kit in my Etsy with a new one every month, plus new kits, exclusive kits that are only found on Patreon. These ones here, these are available only on my Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee. So everything that I'm showing here today on this video is not in my Etsy. These are either on Buy Me a Coffee or my Patreon. So these ones are an agenda, so it's got all the different months of the year with lined writing, and this one's really interesting with the letters of the alphabet, and there's a bit of handwriting, but look at how much beautiful blank space there is as well to be able to add your own writing. And yeah, I just love these pages, these beautiful vintage French pages. I got them originally from Etsy, so I like every now and then to just search vintage French papers, documents, books, or ephemera, and just see what comes up. And I'll just see if there's anything local first of all in Australia, because that's the cheapest shipping. But often I get them direct from France as well, which feels extra special. Here I'm just giving you a look at the vintage French receipt. This is the one that's only available exclusive to my Patreon for Emerald patrons, and there is a kit already in my Etsy, so there's actually tons of vintage French kits as well. There's the first vintage French receipt kit, there's some vintage French ledgers, vintage French ephemera, vintage French tags, all sorts of things, seed packets, envelopes. So when I come to make my vintage French journals, I often just like using a whole mixture of all of those kits, because I love being able to have all different elements and have them all tying together, because obviously they're all vintage and they're all French. And I did have a request from one of my subscribers to show how I make a journal using my printables, so I thought I would do that. I would just make a journal only using some of my vintage French printables, and I'll use some from my Etsy, but also some from my Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee, so that you can see a mixture of all the different kits and how you can make them work together. And they become even more interesting using all these different elements. Now look at these beautiful vintage French ledgers. These are my favorite vintage French ledgers. I do have other ones, but there's just something about these ones. I don't know, I just love that, I don't know how you call it, but look at that font at the top with that bold writing, and then the script writing, and then the handwriting. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. Oh, and the numbers in the corner, really, really pretty. Absolutely love it. So I will show you as well over on Buy Me a Coffee and Patreon where you can access these for those who would like a walkthrough. So stay tuned, I will switch over to that screen now. So here we are showing you the website for Buy Me a Coffee. I apologize for the lines on the screen. I'm not sure how to film that without them showing up. But just to give you a walkthrough, this is what it looks like to give you a lay of the land when you first click on the website. And all the links to these websites, Etsy, Patreon, Buy Me a Coffee, are all in the description box below. So if you click the Extras tab, that will take you to all of the freebies and it will show you what's free, where it says free underneath each image, and then it also shows you the paid kits that are available, and these are also available on my Patreon or my Etsy. So some are exclusive to Patreon and others, if they're on Etsy, they'll be everywhere else. They'll be on all three of my platforms so that you can choose which one is easiest for you to access. Here's another kit that I didn't actually show in this video, but 10 vintage French diary pages. These are the printables for the inspiration journal course that I'm running at the moment. That is over on my channel with a daily prompt. So if you haven't started that yet, you can definitely jump on board. There's no time limit. It will always be on my channel, so it's self-paced and you can join in whenever you have the time. But these are all the printables explaining how it runs and the materials you need and things like that. That's that quote that goes with the course. Moving down, you can see here's the vintage French alphabetical ledgers that I showed in this video. There's 16 in that pack. Again, just mentioning they're exclusive to Buy Me a Coffee and also on my Patreon. These are not in my Etsy. These ones too, the 12 vintage ledger pages, those are over on my Patreon and here on Buy Me a Coffee, not in my Etsy. These are all free. Music paper, Polaroids with the beautiful butterflies, Alice in Wonderland book pages from both Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. So I'm just going to go back home so you can see something else over here about perks of being a member, where you can get all of the kits that I put on Buy Me a Coffee for free. If you just want to do a one-off donation, this is how you can do that here by buying just one coffee or 3 or 5 or however many you would like to donate. And that just supports my channel and me being able to do what I do full-time, making journals and teaching journaling courses. So any support is absolutely appreciated. Every little bit counts when you're running a small business and starting out just as a small business owner. And then here, these are the Willow member levels. There's bronze, silver and gold, but all of the levels you get the printable kits on my Buy Me a Coffee all for free once you are a member, and you can opt out at any time or support on a monthly basis here if you find that this is an easier website to navigate than Patreon. I will show you Patreon after this video in case you want a walkthrough of Patreon and you just want to see which one might suit you, because Patreon has all of the perks. Basically that has everything as well. That has all the videos that I put up and all the printables, all my Etsy kits and all of the other kits that I put up there too. So that's the catch-all. But for those who might want Buy Me a Coffee because it's a bit easier to navigate, I have put up kits and freebies over there too, and especially the kits that aren't on my Etsy but are only on Patreon. They're on Buy Me a Coffee. So here is my Patreon, and when you become a patron it gives you a welcome post pinned to the top just to give you some information about how to use the website and how to access everything. If you would like to go back to the beginning and see my posts from oldest to newest, you can sort them like this. And then you can see there's tabs at the top which gives you ways to search for things too. So all the freebies are there, all of the Etsy kits are there. There's 42 kits that you are able to get as a Ruby patron. As a Sapphire patron, that is the video tier. So this is showing you the videos that you get as a Sapphire. And at the moment I'm putting up all the videos for the Inspiration Journal course where I'm adding my writing to my pages and ephemera and photos and all that kind of thing. Oops, sorry, flashing past the screen pretty quick here, but just wanted to show you the Inspiration course freebies there, how they are both available here and on Buy Me a Coffee. So just going back to the top, You can see there's 323 videos. There are more now because I filmed this a while ago, so that can give you a lot of material to watch if you've got a spare weekend or something. And you can search by your tier level, by month. You can also click in that search post and type in vintage French ledgers or vintage French envelopes or whatever it is that you want to search and see what comes up for you in your tier level. So yeah, I hope that was helpful, these walkthroughs, and I hope you are all doing really well. Be sure to journal your life because your stories matter. Bye guys. A big special thank you to all my beautiful patrons who supported in May. Thank you for allowing me to do this for another month. I hope you absolutely love being a patron and all the extra rewards you get over on my Patreon. You get access to extra videos and printables and personal updates, first access to my journals and much more. So if you'd like to become a patron in June, feel free to check out the link in the description box to my Patreon.